Has everybody graded this question using this particular rubric before? Some no, so we'll go through and we'll review, but I mean, it's worth review, especially because we all have our own ways of grading sight singing when our kids do it. Whenever we're in here, we all have to agree that when we grade, we're gonna grade strictly by the rubric, even if we disagree with it. Prince of Melody. Let's sing it first, so take a look at the melody everybody has it in front of you. So let's take this tempo. Ready and go.
Do, re, ti, do, re, mi, fa, mi, do, la, sol, mi, sol, do, re, mi, ti, do.
Three different scoring guides, well, two. There's the regular scoring guide and the alternate scoring guide. So you'll see first of all that there's little slashes in between every two beats. So when you think of the melody, don't think it in terms of one measure or the whole melody. You want to think about, was this piece right, was this piece right, was this piece right? And they can have one piece right and not have the next piece right and then recover, and all kinds of crazy things can happen. So they get 1 point correct for each half measure, we call those segments, that's both correct in pitch and rhythm. The total number of points that a student can get is 8. And then there's an additional point that we call flow. And flow is tricky. We'll have some discussions about that tonight. But flow is an additional point. So if they get at least one segment correct in both pitch and rhythm, then you can add flow if they keep it going, musical momentum, so to speak. And then if the score is less than 4, we'll try something else. But we always go for 4 or higher, and then you just move on. So let's try the first one. Let's listen. So you've got these tick sheets in front of you. I really recommend keeping track of the tick sheets. Even in the real AP reading, we do that, and we keep track, and it helps us, it keeps you from having to remember, wait, how many segments was it? And so you'll see, and you can use lines and points and then total them up at the end. And then the final little box there at the end is for flow, and you either add it or not. And sometimes if a segment is wrong, I'll put a sideways slash, so use the tick sheets however you want. Can we start, Akira, with, let's start with Y, melody Y.
Ready?
Do, re, ti, do, re, mi, fa, mi, do, la, sol, mi, sol, do, re, mi, ti, do.
Okay, play it one more time, please.
Do, re, ti, do, re, mi, fa, mi, do, la, sol, mi, sol, do, re, mi, ti, do.
Okay, so what did we come up with? Yeah, I'm seeing. Yeah, A. Yeah, so which segment was incorrect? Yeah, segment 7. And so that was pretty common for a student to miss dotted rhythms. It happened all the time. So that was a score of 7 plus the flow point, which was 8. In the 4th segment, you'll notice she took a little breath, and that's going to be normal, right? And it doesn't matter if they breathe the entire time. The only segment that they cannot interrupt with the breath is the final one. So if you take a look down at scoring notes, take a look at letter E. This one is always a point of contention at the reading. The last note must be held at least to the attack of the final 8th note of the measure for that segment to receive credit. So it can be 1/8 note short, 1/8 note long, but it can't be any more than that. And we always say it has to kiss the final 8th note. So, okay, let's try another one. Can we please listen to H?
Do, re, ti, do, re, mi, fa, mi, do, la, sol, mi, sol, do, re, mi, ti, do.
Okay, what do you think? 9? Yeah, and that was, we considered that, we all agreed that that was a perfect score. You're not going to hear a lot of those most likely, right? Because I mean, it's early when we took this sight singing test. So let's try a few more. How about? Yeah, absolutely.
On segment 7 wasn't significant enough to, all right.
No, we in the room we call it the zone of tolerance.
Yeah.
You have to be really careful because it does not have to be absolutely perfect. It just needs to be within the realm of tolerance. And the more you hear, the more you kind of start to get an idea for if they do this wrong, they're going to do this wrong. If they do this wrong, they're going to do this wrong, or if they get this part right. So, Yeah, absolutely. And like Terry pointed out already, that if you got an 8 and the reader over here got a 9, statistically, that's gonna be fine. Give it what you need to and go on. Just be consistent with and of yourself as well. Let's try A.
My name is Catherine Spencer. Do, re, ti, do, re, mi, fa, mi, do, la, sol, fa, sol, do, re, mi, ti, do.
Would you like it again? Okay, let's go tick by tick. All right, so these they start to get a little hairier, right? And this is far more common of a response. Okay, so first tick, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Second tick,
No.
no, the rhythm was messed up. Third tick,
Yes.
yes. Fourth,
Yes.
yes. Fifth,
No.
no. 6,
No.
no. 7,
Yes.
8,
Yes.
and flow.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so there's disagreement on tick 7. Is that?
Yeah, I would say flow for
Oh, no flow?
yeah.
Okay. What was wrong with flow for you?
I don't know, I just felt like there was some stops. And that's where I always get confused, like that
Mhm.
segment
Yeah.
2, like yes, that was a rhythm issue, but then, and I know we talked about don't hit them twice.
Yeah.
But I just felt like throughout, like I don't know, I just felt like she's,
Felt kind of stoppy starty.
yeah.
Okay.
Felt like the rhythm issues were hesitations.
Hesitations.
Especially in segment 2 and segment 6.
Okay. So, what did you? How many hesitations would it take for you to not award flow,
Well,
in your opinion?
I say, is the hesitation a stop, or does it sound like it's a wrong rhythm? And at that point, are you marking them twice for wrong rhythms? Even though, because 5, I think the pitch, it was way off, but still the rhythm. 2 and 6 were hesitations of rhythm.
Okay. Let's
So
listen
I-
again.
Yeah.
So one of the things they talk about with flow, and flow is always a matter of contention. It's hard, and it just comes down to one chord or not. But like she pointed out, we want to be sure that if you do knock them for rhythm, don't knock them for flow too in the same segment. That's not cool, because that's only 1 point. Let's do it one more time, and then Terry brought up that in the past they used to call this the momentum of musical motion, right? Yeah. And there's all these kind of things that are repeated like mantras throughout when we're grading, so that we remember just to be consistent. Would you do it one more time? So really focusing on
Do,
flow.
re, ti, do, re, mi, fa, mi, do, la, sol, fa, sol, do, re, mi, ti, do.
Yeah, I mean, I could go either way, I think, on flow. Absolutely. Quick corrects, really quick corrects, because, I mean, if you were to play a wrong note, if you're playing an instrument and you quickly corrected it because you heard it, you would quickly correct it. We don't take away flow for that. Small hesitations. What we're looking for to lose flow is that they are losing a beat, a 2 or more within the context of the rhythm, and you really can't, like it's a stop and a start. Would you play letter A?
Do, re, ti, do, re, mi, fa, mi, do, sol, fa, mi, sol, mi, fa, do, re, mi, ti, do.
And our favorite part, of course, is how at the end he says, I messed up. Did anybody need it another time? You okay? Okay, so let's go in order. First segment? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, you got off to a good start. Second?
Yes.
Yeah. Third segment?
Yes.
Yes. And fourth?
No.
No, he went to the wrong landing pitch. Fifth?
No.
No. Sixth?
No.
No, I mean, because even though he had some of those pitches in there, they certainly weren't within the right rhythm and they weren't consecutive. Seventh?
No.
And eighth?
No.
No, he landed on a good dough, but what was wrong with it?
Didn't hold.
Yeah, it's not long enough, and so this one kind of illustrates that it must be held to the final 8th note, and what happens to him happens to lots of kids, where they just kind of give up. They're like, ugh. They get frustrated and they give away that last point, which is really frustrating. But we just have to keep hammering it until they do it.
I didn't feel like his first go matched for the rest of his key reasons. I didn't.
Well, and we could go back and listen to how he approaches the final do, but either way, we're not going to give it to him.
No, I'm talking about the very first segment.
Right, the first segment matching the last segment.
No, I'm talking about I didn't give a point for the first segment.
Oh, really?
Because I
Okay.
didn't feel like his do there matched the rest of his key.
Oh, okay.
I just was curious if
Would you sing, would you do just the beginning?
Do, re,
I mean, you can give that to him.
do, re.
I was just asking if anybody
Yeah.
else did.
No, that's fine, I mean, and so we would have ended up with a 3, right? Okay, so flow, that's a good one to talk about flow, because you see what I mean, it's just multiple restarts and there's just no question, so that's really the interruption of flow. And there is a gray area with flow, and it's always a problem every year, and we just have to decide what we're gonna accept and what we're not gonna accept. But I would say if they restart more than once, and that he definitely did. And then if you got a 2 and I got a 3, then we're fine. One of the things that gets really hard, because, you know, when you first get in there, you kind of have like, especially in Texas, UIL brains, right? We're like, sorry, it's not perfect, and, you know, we're done. With this, I mean, these kids are truly sight singing and it's a test day, and what'll happen is you go in there and you're not gonna accept little tiny things that happen in the moment. You'll end up with scores that end up being lower, and we always say candidate-oriented scoring. If it's on the fence, give it to them. You know, if it's not, I mean, if it's clear violation of whatever the points are. So candidate-oriented scoring. Yeah, this is kind of an interesting question. So you have to decide. So what she's asking is, when you take this dotted 8/16 rhythm, and it was a problem for lots of students, so get ready to hear it. When you have the dotted 8/16 rhythm and they sing it instead as a dotted quarter 8, is it a wrong rhythm or is it a change in tempo?
Right.
And what we felt was they just sang the wrong rhythm. And so even though it extended, it augmented the rhythm somewhat, they were still in the original tempo. So that becomes a one or the other.
Okay.
Did they change tempo and then they changed tempo again, or is it more likely? And so we kind of all agreed when we were picking samples that we were just gonna understand that they just don't know how to sing dotted 8/16.
Okay.
And let's try sample E. Anybody need it again? Okay. Okay. Segment 1. Yes. Segment 2. No. And you're gonna hear that a lot. Segment 3.
Yes.
4.
Yes.
Segment 5.
No.
Now, it's really close, but instead of so, so, fee, they sang so, so, fa. So you'll hear that, and be careful, because sometimes they say fee, but then they actually are singing fa, and it'll play a little bit of a trick on your ear there. We heard that a couple of times. Next segment,
No.
no, and next segment,
No.
no. But then they established a new pulse with that 8th note pickup into the final segment, and the final segment, yeah, we got it for sure. And then flow? Yeah, so
You sure on that final one that wasn't too long duration?
we can check it again.
It was-
We can check it. It was pushing the envelope for sure.
I thought it was long.
Okay, we initially gave it.
Yeah, I remember.
It
Yeah.
goes just 1/8 note past. So it's considered, you can go within one or one short. They just can't go do, it's gotta be do, or it can be do. And then flow, we okay with flow? So we got a total score of 5, and one of the reasons I wanted to play that for you is you notice the first several use solfege. One of the things it says on scoring notes F, the syllables don't matter. It doesn't matter if they sing they can sing nonsense words. But they can say or sing whatever they want. They could put lyrics with it as long as it didn't change the rhythm. So, shall we try one more on the regular scoring guide and see how we feel? Okay, let's go with K.
My name is Malika Corona. Do, re, ti, do, re, mi, fa, mi, do, la, so, mi, so, do, re, mi, ti, do.
Anybody like it again? Okay, all right, take 1. Yes, stick 2.
No.
Nope, take 3.
Yes.
And she was a little bit flat on the fa, but again, zone of tolerance with intonation, it does not have to be perfectly in tune. As long as it's more one note than the other, you're okay. The tick 5,
No.
6,
No.
7,
No.
8. Yes, Yes, and then plus flow, so she had 1, 2, 3, and then plus 1, this is a solid 4.